After 3.5 years, it's good to be alive. So let's revisit number 5. Hello, my friends, and welcome to the 219th episode of the Sales Podcast. I'm Wes Schaefer, the Sales Whisperer, your host. If you missed our last episode, I just published it yesterday. How could you miss it? I was with Keith Perhack, really smart entrepreneur, getting some cool things done. He's running multiple businesses, just moved back from Japan, where he's been for 15 years. He's got a virtual team. He shares how he brings on clients, how he brings on staff, how he sets the tone and keeps things on track, how he fires clients, how he fires staff. So a little bit of everything. You will benefit from that. So go check out number 218, so thesaleswhisperer.com/session 218. Today I'm doing something a little bit different. I've been going through older episodes, and I'm going to put a little new spin on these and kind of intersperse them in some of the other interviews I have lined up. I have less interviews lined up going into the end of the year. I still have some ideas, and I'm not teasing you intentionally. I'm just busy. You know, I've had a crazy couple of months with travel, probably the most travel I've had in my solo career since running the Sales Whisperer. And I was speaking at several events. I attended a few conferences. I've got one more coming up next week. I'm going out to Boston for the HubSpot Inbound. It'll be my first time going to that. They're expecting somewhere in the neighborhood of 15,000 people. It's unbelievable. I'm going to be there all week, the week of the election. So we'll see how that turns out. But as I started going through my old stuff, I realized, like this one, I'm rehashing number 5, where I talk about having a good process and how to wow people. It's worth revisiting. It's also interesting. I don't know if I'd call them mistakes, but I mean, there's things I just didn't know I didn't know. So, you know, it's a mistake, it's an oversight, an omission, but just how to publish these. And I had different intros, different music on this episode. I had this really long lead in that I've chopped off in the beginning. I used to play music a lot longer at the end, and I guess that's okay. Some people may just want to listen to it, a little ditty, little riff. So I left that in on this one. But when I published number 5, there was this just huge silence for, I think, 20 minutes at the end. So I don't know what the heck I was doing. I also learned a lot about using these ID3 tags in your podcast and how to create that within iTunes and then export the audio up into Libsyn. So a lot of things that help you get found from an SEO standpoint. So I'm making those changes here as well. And also related to this, I don't think I had this page up. So go check out thesaleswhisperer.com/PBL. So it's Papa Bravo Lima. Okay. It stands for Process Before Login. So thesaleswhisperer.com/PBL. I've got about 12-minute video there. It's free to watch, and a free PDF that you can download. And I work on this with everybody, especially my new clients, to map out their processes before we log into the software. And we do this before people buy software. So if they come to me early, we go through this. But even when they have their tools, whether it's Infusionsoft or HubSpot, Entreport, ActiveCampaign, you name it, having this process mapped out is a big help. So go check that out, download that, and take a little time away from the screen, at least from the tools you use, and open up Excel or Word or a mind map, or, really I prefer you use the paper I give you, the PDF planning tool. Use a whiteboard, okay? I'll break out this butcher block paper, this wrapping paper that comes in these big rolls, and I'll roll it out on my dining room table so I can see and draw just big, use a Sharpie. Use a marker so you can see it in really big font and draw out what you want to have happen. And from that process before login, you can begin creating a really good process to both attract customers and to keep them coming back, to have them sending you referrals and testimonials. So enjoy this rehash of episode 5. So I'm recording this one now. It's November 1st, 2016, and I recorded this the first time back in June. I think it was June 28th, 2013, and I talk about it on this episode. So enjoy, take notes, then take action. Hi, everyone. This podcast is going out on Friday, June 28th, 2013. It is session number 5. Just putting yourself out there, right? Getting this podcast started. It's amazing how many people I have gotten lined up in July and even into August to come onto the podcast. But it is summertime. Getting scheduling around some of these bigger names I'm going to be bringing on made it tough for this week to get folks lined up, which opens the opportunity for me to share a little something that happened yesterday in my Infusionsoft study hall. I had a dental practice come in, and it made me realize need to focus on two things with businesses that I'm going to focus on in this podcast. And one is the importance of processes, and the other is creating that wow factor. The wow factor comes both when you are making a name for yourself to get noticed, to even have that prospect know that you exist. I always say people don't do business with you for one of two reasons. Either they don't know about you or they do. So, as long with the former, how to get noticed, it's that wow factor, right? Being willing to be maybe a little edgy, to be out there, to get noticed. But there's also, once you get noticed, that's fine. When they reach out to you and the dialogue begins, there needs to be a wow factor. And then after the sale, there needs to be a wow factor. Dan Kennedy talks about his shock and awe package. I think he's the grandfather of all of this, but it's true. But you can't have a wow factor if you don't have a clear-cut process. As most of you probably know, I do a lot of work with Infusionsoft, and they used to have what they call the perfect customer life cycle. They've now rebranded it to life cycle marketing. But the idea is to follow 7 steps: attracting traffic, capturing the lead, nurturing the lead, closing the sale. All right, closing the sale is right in the middle. It's step number 4 of 7. Because the real money is made when you deliver and satisfy, create that wow factor, when you then upsell that prospect, and then when you get referrals and testimonials. Okay, so it brings me back to this dentist. As we were mapping things out on the whiteboard, I've got this big, 12 by 4 whiteboard, and we filled this thing up, I think, 3 times, plus other smaller whiteboards and paper. But as we went through, we looked at their pipeline, their funnel, their processes. This dentist has 2 other dentists that do additional work. He wants to shift his focus to only the bigger cases, and these bigger cases are $25,000 to $50,000. So as I started asking them, what is your process? They admitted that if somebody comes in and they need that type of work, if they don't put a deposit down or sign up right then, they had no process for bringing those people back, for staying in touch. And they also admitted even people that put down a deposit, that recognized they needed the work, a lot of them would get cold feet, even after they put down significant deposits of thousands of dollars. So we started looking at what could be done to bring back, they said if 20 people a month come in to look at this type of $25,000 to $50,000 work, only 2 to 3 would purchase. So we can double their business by just getting 2 to 3 more people to sign on the dotted line. So, doing the math, that's easily $60,000, and up. I mean, this could be a $300,000 change we make in this company's business per month. So we started looking at, I've got my own little shock and awe package at the office. It's a little box, and there's a book in there and some other goodies when people join our monthly marketing club. But I said, you should do the same thing. I said, what do you give these people when they come in? They said, yeah, we got a nice little folder, little brochure. I was like, no way, Jose. I said, think about it. These people are nervous. They're putting down a lot of money. They've probably been in pain and or even had some embarrassment over the years with their teeth, with their mouth, with their smile. Maybe they can't eat the kind of foods that they want to eat. And now all of this is about to change. I said, you need to look around, find a local day spa, maybe a nice golf course in the area, a nice restaurant. When somebody puts down a significant deposit of thousands of dollars, include these types of certificates. Go get a $100, $200, $300 gift certificate to treat themselves to a nice spa, massage, mani-pedi. If it's a man, if you know much about the client, if he likes golf, if she likes golf, send them to a nice golf course. Send them to a nice dinner, dinner for two to celebrate this great decision that they made. Okay? Now, if somebody comes in and they don't put a deposit down, but they're still a prospect, have the exact same shock and awe package. Just don't spend any money on massages or whatever because they haven't made the decision yet. So, but both of them, whether somebody puts down a deposit or somebody just comes in for the consultation and does not decide, I told them, I said, do you have great testimonials and before and afters? They said, yes, we have a ton. I wrote my book, the Definitive Guide to Infusionsoft. That thing is almost 700 pages. And it costs me less than $9 to print that book. So, I told them, go get a little booklet with 100 pages of before and after images and get that thing printed up. It probably cost, if it was $100 or 100 pages, it might cost a few dollars. My book is in black and white. Maybe they get theirs in color. So maybe it does cost them still $9 or $10 to get a 100-page full-color booklet created. Well, is that a wise investment to land $25,000 and $50,000 clients? Yeah, I think so. So they need to have basically one shock and awe box with two different sets of inserts in it. And really the only difference is whether or not there's money in the box based on those that give money as a retainer. So as we started talking through that, it's fantastic when I see the light bulbs go off when I'm working with clients, and they just got it. And then they got excited. And then we busted open their Infusionsoft, which is what they were there to do. And we started building out some campaigns. But I always tell people, regardless of the platform that you use, you need to have a piece of paper. You need to have a whiteboard. You need to document your process first. The tools you use to make it happen almost don't matter. I say almost because, I love Infusionsoft the way everything is all under one roof. But I have helped clients with, more traditional CRMs like a Salesforce.com or a Zoho, export into Constant Contact or Aweber, leading to a shopping cart through one shopping cart. Right? There's a little more cut and pasting going on there. But at the end of the day, the process is what is most important. So go look up that life cycle marketing. Look at those 7 steps and say, where am I falling down? Where is the hole in my bucket where the leads and the money is just pouring out? And then figure out every step of the way, what can you do to wow someone? So maybe the wow on the attracting traffic is better blog posts. Maybe it's a podcast. Maybe it's a crazy image, a crazy headline. Maybe it's PPC. Maybe it's direct mail sent out in a red foil envelope. Maybe it's oversized postcards. Maybe it's lumpy mail. And that gets somebody to open and then follow some type of action, right? So then when you capture that lead, when that potential customer raises their hand, how do you then follow up and stay in touch? What is that process? And it could be something as mundane as, how do you answer the phone? How does your staff answer the phone? From there, once you get their contact information and confirm who they are, how do you stay in touch? Are you applying a multimedia, multi-sequence, multi-touch process? And by that I mean, are you utilizing text messaging, email, direct mail, voice broadcasts, okay? Multimedia, multi-touch. Doing all of that is a wow. When we talked about that with the dental client, they don't follow up at all with these people that just came in to consult on $25,000 worth of business. When they come in and the sale is made, is it a pleasant experience? Are you reassuring? Are you making them confident that they're making the right choice? Now, the whole deliver and satisfy. I know a lot of people think, hey, they paid me, I'm going to give them what they bought, everybody's happy. Well, maybe. But do you want purely satisfied, merely satisfied clients? Or do you want ecstatic clients? It's the old adage, under promise and over deliver. So how do you process the order, then over deliver? And what I mean by that is maybe the package arrives early. Maybe you promise ground shipping and it gets there overnight because you have the money built in. There's a ton of different ways to over deliver, but you need to focus on doing more, providing more than what they think they're going to get. From there now, don't be afraid to offer some type of upgraded package. You see that all the time on Amazon. Go to GoDaddy. I have a love-hate relationship with GoDaddy, but they can upsell like nobody's business. When you go buy that domain name, there's upsells everywhere. When you go to the grocery store, the magazines, the gum, the candy at the checkout stand, that's basically an upsell. Okay, it's positioned there on purpose. If you believe in what you do, if you provide great value and service, at least give your clients the ability to buy more of what you offer. Maybe it's an extended warranty. Maybe it's a cover, a case for your iPhone, your smartphone. Do something. Give them a chance to buy something else at the moment that they have their wallet out and they've admitted that they trust you and they're moving forward with the transaction. From there, I was showing the ladies that came from the dental practice how to then send a simple survey. And it wasn't all detailed. It was basically 3 options. Click the one that applies, right? That said, how would you rate your service with us? How would you rate your experience? And the first one was fantastic. The second one said, it was just okay. And the third one said, not too good. Well, if they click fantastic, it takes them to a landing page that asks for referrals and testimonials. If they clicked on the other 2, it put them into another sequence that notified the operations manager and the dentist that somebody's not happy. Take preventive measures, proactive measures to get in touch with that client, that patient, find out what went wrong, and find out how to make it better right now. Okay? Because from there, having a bad experience that you then address and make better can sometimes create more raving fans than just providing good service where everything went fine. Back in 2000, I was recruited to join this telecom test and measurement company. And as soon as I joined, my very first task was to contact all of the customers in the area, and there were hundreds, for a recall. The company, we made this like $20,000 portable device for testing fiber optic cable. And there was, a bad component. But the way the company handled it was fantastic. because the unit was modular, they could keep their testing modules, and they just had to ship in the mainframe that did, the guts of the computer, with the screen and all. So they had a choice to send everything in and get it repaired. It was a quick fix, but still, you're out of the device for days, if not a week or more. And if you use that in the field as your way of making money, then that's not good. But a lot of companies had multiple units, so they're like, yeah, we don't care. We'll swap them out. We'll rotate through. But others said, we can't do without it. So my company had loaners. We gave them additional upgraded software at no charge as part of the recall and the recalibration. But my point is, the way we handled that made more fans, because everybody screws up sometime. We're only human. It was really uncontrollable the way that this little piece went bad. And so we took care of it. We owned up to it. We made it easy for the clients to get it fixed, as easy as possible, and gave them a little bit extra for their efforts. So don't back down from the critics. I get emails every day. It's part of my follow-up sequences and basically everything you would ever order from me. Somewhere between one day to a month later, you're going to get an email that says, how was everything? And, I'm shocked, actually, at how many people are pretty dang rude when they want to respond. Like they lose the vision. I had this guy just yesterday. He said, hey, what did you think? And he says, frankly, I'm a little shocked, and, the way this email came and what you want to do afterwards. But I did opt in for this and that and the other. And the guy doesn't realize, A, he opted in for my sequence, which means he's now a lead. B, he didn't realize he was getting a sequencer, even though it said the 7 steps, right? And I send out 7 steps over 7 days. 3, he didn't realize that by clicking one of my partner links, he's now a registered lead for that program. So he just wanted to beat me up over how he thought it could be done better. And hey, you know what? I took it to heart, and one of the things he mentioned, I'm already making changes to that one sequence. So you've got to have a little thick skin sometimes. All right, and I admit, I've been in sales since 94, been in full-time sales since 97. It's still hard to hear somebody rail against you. If you are still thin-skinned, then have an assistant, have somebody read through the negative emails and figure out how to handle it, if it needs to be passed on. Most things probably don't. An assistant could have read that email for me and then given me the talking points. But, hey, I get it. I roll with it. So in the end, figure out your process. Be committed to your process. Be committed to testing and measuring the process. Understand that you have a process so you can stand out in your niche, in your marketplace against your competition, which will make it easier for you to grow your business and provide better service to your clients. Okay, if you are truly committed to what it is you do, you'll go through these efforts. So with that, enjoy the weekend. Whenever you're listening to this, take notes, go back, listen to this again if you need to. But I would right now, bust out a piece of paper, write out your 7 steps. Write that out between attracting traffic, capturing, nurturing, closing, delivering and satisfying, upselling, and getting referrals and testimonials. And then, to wrap this up again with Dan Kennedy, he says, embrace complexity. And what he means by that, like I just listed 7 steps, but you may have 7 steps for each of those 7 steps. So that brings up to 49 steps. Maybe you have 70 steps under each. The point is, make it look simple on the outside, just like Apple. They say simple is hard. You want it simple for the client to follow the process, but you want complexity under the hood so your competition can't steal it easily. So think about that for a little while. Go build your process. You can do it. You've got to start somewhere. Okay? So start now. Good selling. Booyah, baby. That concludes this session 5. If you would be so kind, please visit iTunes and leave a 5-star comment, 5-star rating, and also visit thesaleswhisperer.com. And where you see this blog post for this podcast, please leave some comments there. Tweet it out, share it on Facebook. This is my wow factor, if you will. And I've noticed that because I readily share and retweet and comment on blogs and posts that I like, I now ask for others to do the same for me much more readily. And so, it's a little back scratching, right? So please leave a few comments. Thanks for tuning in. And remember to sell different.